My name's Tom Lally. We're here at the Bradford Kaims 2015. This is Trench 9. It's the middle of the third week. So far this season we've had to relocate Trench 9 because we backfilled it at the end of last season once we got to the end. So we've spent a bit of time re-deturfing, removing the backfill again, and then re-stringing up our grid line, so these points you can see along. So in the last week and a bit we've spent the time planning, just getting a fresh look at the trench again and mapping in all our key features from last season so we can get all that done out the road and then start some new digging this season. The plan is now done, we just had to level it this morning. So our next stage now is to remove the burnt mound, which is the next context to come off. We're not predicting it to take too long. As you can see, it is quite thin compared to Trench 6 and Trench 6's numerous burnt mounds. We've spent some time re-tagging in all our stake holes in the latter end of last season. It's been a useful exercise because we've since found that some of the stake holes that we marked out last year were actually fake and they didn't exist. And we've also found some that we missed last year, which is good in itself, so it was good to redo that. An example here is we found a stake hole right here amongst the group that we didn't excavate last year, so that'll be one of the next things we do once the burnt mound's gone. The aims for the rest of the season basically are to remove the burnt mound, see what's underneath that. Hopefully it's more stake holes or some features so we can determine what's going on with these stake holes and what they're meaning and what their relationship is with the burnt mound, because some were on top of the burnt mound, some have been below, and that sort of thing. So once the burnt mound's gone, we'll look for more stake holes, if there are any. Then the next stage will be to start excavating the stake holes, so taking a sample for each of them, hopefully finding some things in the fill. We didn't find anything in particular in last year's examples. So yeah, burnt mound and stake holes. We're going to reopen the northern section where we dropped it down to get a profile, or a nice section to see what was going on with the trench, because we were starting to get confused with the context down the bottom. So we'll reopen that soon and go back down to our wood, which is underneath, which hopefully once Graham gets down to his wood section over in Trench 11, we'll be able to marry up what's going on in our peat area and wood there compared to what's happening in his. Another thing we're doing this year is doing the same thing like we did in that northern section, but with this southern section here. So we started, the idea last year was to take this end down, this end of the trench down as much as we were going to take the northern end down, but because of all the stake holes and the burnt mound and the sampling strategy for that took a bit longer, so we kind of put a pause button on this end of the trench. So we will reopen sort of this end, so the idea will be to take this section down at least half a metre, similar to the other end, and work out what's going on. We do think that this surface in here on the inside of this string line, we think that this is a Mesolithic layer because we're finding lots of sort of microliths and really fine pieces of flint. So hopefully we find more of them and we can work out what's going on up in this sort of section where this is, most of our flint finds have been sort of in this top corner, and then we found the Bronze Age pot down here as well, so we'll see if there's some sort of relationship going on with those things. So we've got a few tasks to do this season. We should be able to get them done, weather permitting. But yeah, it'll be interesting just to see, we've got a few unanswered questions from last year, so hopefully we can answer them and have this trench finished by the end of this season.